This man has never knocked nobody out cold. He's a bully. He's slow. He has no skill, no footwork. He's awkward. And I have been given him a name. I named Floyd Patterson the Rabbit. I named Sonny Liston the Bear. And he shall be known officially as the Mummy.
Joe, why you think I'm in?
Sit down, Joe.
Huh?
Sit down quick.
Why you think I'm in?
The brothers are here.
You doing this too?
No. Sit down quick, Joe.
He was racist. That's what Muhammad Ali believed about some of the men who stepped into the ring with him. But this story isn't about hate. It's about something far more powerful. It's about a man who refused to let the world decide who he was. Ali's grudges weren't just personal feuds. They were battles for his identity, his faith, and his legacy. And the 5 boxers he never forgave, they each crossed a line that Ali couldn't ignore. So why did Ali hold on to these grudges for decades? What made these rivalries so different from all the others? The answer reveals a side of Ali most people never understood. When Cassius Clay became Muhammad Ali in the early 1960s, he didn't just change his name, he changed everything. His conversion to the Nation of Islam gave him strength and a sense of freedom. It supported his quest for identity and racial consciousness. Ali's faith wasn't a hobby, it was his entire identity. And as the heavyweight champion of the world, he had a platform no athlete had ever used before. Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam's leader, understood this. Having Ali as both a Muslim and the heavyweight champion would attract unprecedented attention. It would uplift Black America, but not everyone was ready for this transformation. Some saw Ali's new identity as a threat, others saw it as a betrayal, and a few saw it as something they could mock. These men would pay a price. Ali made sure of that, because for him, defending his name and his faith wasn't optional. It was everything. Understanding Ali's grudges requires understanding the world he lived in. America in the 1960s was a nation divided by race and ideology. The civil rights movement was challenging centuries of oppression, and Ali stood at the center of this storm. His decision to join the Nation of Islam wasn't just controversial, it was radical. Many white Americans saw the NOI as a dangerous, separatist organization. Many Black Americans, especially those pursuing integration, saw it as extreme. Ali's position as champion gave him power, but it also made him a target. Every time he stepped into the ring, he wasn't just defending his title. He was defending his right to exist as Muhammad Ali. His opponents became symbols. Some represented the white establishment's desire to see him fail. Others represented Black accommodation to white supremacy, and a few represented threats to his professional dominance. The boxing ring became Ali's battlefield for identity warfare. It was where he could enforce respect. It was where he could punish disrespect. And it was where he could demonstrate through physical dominance that his chosen identity was powerful and legitimate. The first man Ali refused to forgive was Ernie Terrell. Terrell's crime was simple but unforgivable. He refused to call Ali by his Muslim name, even in press conferences, even when Ali begged him to stop. Terrell kept calling him Cassius Clay. Ali interpreted this as racist disrespect toward his religious conversion and identity. This wasn't just about a name, it was about dignity. It was about forcing the world to acknowledge who Ali had become. The dispute exploded on national television. On the Howard Cosell show, Ali made his demand clear. My name is Muhammad Ali, and you will announce it right there in the center of that ring after the fight, if you don't do it now. Terrell refused. He said he would keep using the name his mama called him. That was a mistake. Their 1967 fight became one of the most brutal displays of calculated punishment in boxing history. Ali showed blindingly fast footwork that represented his athletic peak, but he didn't knock Terrell out quickly. Instead, he chose to make him suffer. For 15 rounds, Ali dominated Terrell, deliberately extending the beating. And throughout the entire fight, Ali snarled the same question over and over. "What's my name?" He screamed it at his bloodied rival. He wouldn't let Terrell forget. At the end of the 8th round, Ali continued the confrontation, even after the bell rang, repeating the question. Ali's refusal to forget the insult meant that Terrell's professional legacy became synonymous with bringing out the champion's nasty side. This wasn't cruelty for its own sake. It was a lesson. Ali was teaching Terrell and everyone watching that disrespecting his faith had consequences. The fight became a public demonstration of the power inherent in his chosen identity. By forcing Terrell to endure the beating while taunting him, Ali transformed the violence into something bigger. It became a spiritual and political statement. Now let me ask you something. If you had to choose your identity in a world that wanted to define you, how far would you go to defend it? Drop your answer in the comments. The second man Ali never forgave was Floyd Patterson. Patterson's betrayal cut even deeper than Terrell's. Patterson was the gentle gladiator, a respectable Black champion who represented integrated success, but he publicly rejected rejected Ali's adoption of the Nation of Islam. He insisted on calling him Clay, and then he made it worse. Patterson declared that he wanted to fight Ali to bring the title back to America. This was a clear endorsement of the white establishment's views. It was a repudiation of Ali's political defiance. Ali viewed this stance from another black champion as profound racial betrayal. The 1965 fight was intensely ideological. Ali employed a style designed specifically for humiliation. He prolonged the punishment for almost 12 rounds while faking punches and dancing around the ring. But the real damage wasn't just physical. Ali used racial slurs against Patterson during the fight. In the clinches, he called him Uncle Tom. He called him the white man's nigger. Ali intended to delegitimize Patterson in the eyes of the emerging black nationalist movement. The prolonged physical punishment for a verbal offense against the name demonstrated that Ali's grudges were tactical. They were designed to establish psychological and cultural dominance. Ali's objective wasn't merely physical victory, it was spiritual and political submission. By forcing Patterson to endure the beating while taunting him with the identity question, Ali transformed the violence into a public demonstration of power. The cruelty was so apparent that Robert Lipsyte of the New York Times described Ali's action as like a little boy pulling off the wings of a butterfly piecemeal. The crowd booed as Ali left the ring. Ali's use of the Uncle Tom slur against Patterson was a test run. It established the term's public power, and it set the stage for its devastating deployment against another fighter years later. The third grudge is the most complex and morally troubling of them all, Joe Frazier. The rivalry between Ali and Frazier involved an intense personal relationship permanently damaged by calculated political attacks. And here's the twist. Frazier had helped Ali when almost no one else would. During Ali's professional exile from 1967 to 1970, after he refused to be inducted into the U.S. Army, Frazier emerged as the world heavyweight champion. But Frazier didn't turn his back on Ali. He actively helped Ali secure his boxing license. He lent him money. He did everything he could to get Ali reinstated. This was deep personal and financial loyalty. This was friendship. Despite this immense moral debt, Ali initiated a systematic campaign to destroy Frazier's character. Why? Because Ali needed a villain. In the build-up to their 1971 fight of the century, Ali needed to position himself as the revolutionary icon. And to do that, he needed Frazier to be the perfect antagonist. Ali unleashed a torrent of ideological and personal insults. He called Frazier Clay. He called him the white man's champion. He called him ugly and ignorant. But the most damaging slur was Uncle Tom. Ali stated publicly that Frazier was worse than white people. He argued that Frazier worked for the enemy. This was deeply cynical. Frazier was a son of a sharecropper who moved north to escape extreme racism in the segregated South. But Ali argued that because Frazier was backed by white investors called Cloverlay, while Ali was backed by the Nation of Islam, Frazier symbolized everything Ali had rejected, the integrated, accommodating black figure. Ali went even further. He employed blatant dehumanization. He repeatedly called Frazier a gorilla. During the promotion for their third fight, the Thrilla in Manila, Ali used a rubber toy gorilla prop. He pounded it while taunting. "It will be a thriller when I get the gorilla in Manila." This vicious stream of insults served as psychological warfare. It was designed to permanently break Frazier's standing and ensure Ali remained the sole, undisputed voice of black political consciousness in boxing. The slurs had a lingering after effect that was more damaging than any single punch thrown in their combined 41 rounds of fighting. Frazier's children were bullied at school. They received threats as a direct result of Ali's public mockery. Frazier carried a deep, lifelong bitterness toward Ali. The relationship never fully recovered, even after Ali expressed regret for the insults later in life. The extreme cruelty Ali used was proportional to the size of the moral debt he had to politically erase. Frazier's assistance during Ali's exile made him the perfect moral foil. By successfully branding Frazier and Uncle Tom, Ali elevated his own revolutionary image. The strategic betrayal was justified in Ali's mind, and when Frazier started using Clay against Ali, it was likely in retaliation. But by then, the damage was done. The feud had become self-destructive, initiated by Ali's deeper betrayal. Ali expressed respect and admiration when Frazier passed away, but Frazier's own bitter recollection was that Ali's words stung like a venomous bee. The pain never fully went away. Not all of Ali's grudges centered on religious identity. The fourth boxer Ali refused to forgive was Ken Norton. Norton's offense was strictly professional. He challenged the sacred status of the greatest. Norton consistently implied that Ali was overrated. He claimed Ali received special treatment. He said judges favored him. He argued that the media and fans unfairly elevated Ali above his peers. This critique gained credibility because of Norton's remarkable performance in their trilogy. Norton provided Ali with his toughest nights. He defeated Ali in their first bout and broke Ali's jaw. Their second and third matches were razor-thin decisions. The third fight remains controversial to this day. Norton's professional challenge lent weight to his verbal claims. This posed an existential threat to Ali's status. The significance of this grudge lies in Ali's fierce protection of his athletic prestige. Ali's enduring bitterness demonstrated that identity warfare extended beyond the political realm. It included his personal aura. Accepting Norton's claims would have meant accepting that Ali's legendary status was manufactured or media protected. Ali vehemently refused to do that. Norton's critique was a precursor to questioning athletic media hype, and Ali's unforgiveness secured the sanctity of his self-proclaimed status. The fifth and final boxer Ali never forgave was Sonny Liston. Liston represented the old, corrupted guard of boxing. He was a figure linked to the mafia and the traditional racist villain archetype of the pre-Muslim era. Liston mocked Ali's connection to the Nation of Islam. He repeatedly used the name Clay, playing into racist media narratives that fueled hostility against Ali. Ali believed Liston actively tried to embarrass him in front of the world. Their rematch in 1965 remains one of the most controversial events in boxing history. It ended abruptly with the infamous Phantom Punch. Rumors circulated that Liston took a dive due to pressure from the mafia or threats from the Nation of Islam. Regardless of the true cause of the knockout, the contest was marred by suspicion. Fans yelled, "Fix!" as the fight ended. Ali's unforgiveness toward Liston served a critical function. It was about controlling the historical narrative. Ali maintained public ostracization, refusing to speak positively about Liston. For Ali, the victory had to be seen as legitimate and based on skill. He called it the anchor punch. The win had to demonstrate the triumph of the new, morally righteous black champion over the corrupt old establishment. By holding a grudge, Ali prevented Liston from becoming a sympathetic figure in memory. This affirmed Ali's own symbolic purity. It protected the sanctity of his pivotal upset victory in the controversial rematch. So what do all these grudges tell us? They reveal that Ali's unforgiveness was strategic. It was consistent. It was a defining feature of his career in the 1960s and 1970s. The enduring nature of these 5 grudges underscores that Ali regarded any challenge, whether political, religious, or professional, as an attack on the unified identity he fought so hard to create. Ali's pattern of hostility was strategically essential for the Nation of Islam's growth and visibility. By compelling opponents and the media to publicly acknowledge his name through brutal spectacle, Ali provided the NOI with legitimacy and attention. He encouraged believers to rebel against social oppression. The public confrontations functioned as a form of cultural and political warfare waged for the benefit of his faith. But here's where the story takes an important turn. Ali's later spiritual journey included converting to Sunni Islam. He embraced a broader message of peace and reconciliation. In his reflective writings, Ali affirmed a commitment to mercy. He stated, "I believe in forgiveness. I have practiced forgiving just as I want to be forgiven." This philosophical evolution tells us something crucial. The public cruelty and strategic unforgiveness displayed in Ali's youth were temporary political necessities. During his career, Ali used grudges to forcefully assert his new identity in a hostile environment. Once the identity of Muhammad Ali was globally secured, after retirement, after the world had accepted his name, faith, and stature, the need for such strategic hostility dissolved. The icon, having won the cultural war, could dedicate himself to humanitarian work. The transformation from warrior to peacemaker didn't erase what came before. It completed it. Ali's grudges were never about pettiness or ego in the conventional sense. They were about survival. They were about claiming space in a world that wanted to deny him the right to define himself. Every punch Ali threw at Terrell while screaming, "What's my name?" was a declaration of independence. Every insult hurled at Patterson was a rejection of assimilation. Every cruel word aimed at Frazier was a strategic move in a larger game of cultural dominance. The enduring nature of these 5 grudges confirms the intensity of Muhammad Ali's conviction and his uncompromising commitment to self-definition. These rivalries are not mere footnotes of athletic competition. They are indelible evidence of the immense societal and personal resistance Ali faced and overcame to forge his identity. His calculated unforgiveness solidified his narrative as a champion who transcended sport to fight a larger cultural war. Ali's legacy is profound for its bitter complexities, but it's equally profound for its ultimate message of courage and peace. The unforgiven grudges were the crucible in which the globally renowned humanitarian icon was forged. They were the fires that tested his resolve, and in the end, they proved that Ali's greatest fight wasn't in the ring. It was for the right to define himself. These 5 boxers, Ernie Terrell, Floyd Patterson, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, and Sonny Liston, each played a role in that fight, and each paid a price for challenging the man who refused to be anything but Muhammad Ali. So what do you think? Were Ali's grudges justified, or did he go too far? Let me know in the comments below.